Good documentation practices, or GDP, are like the foundation of a house. They provide a system of rules and guidelines for creating, managing, and keeping records. These records are crucial in industries like pharmaceuticals, biotech, and medical devices. Why? Because these areas deal with people's health and safety. Imagine a world without GDP. Mistakes happen, information gets lost, and it becomes impossible to track what happened, when, and by whom. That's a recipe for disaster. GDP helps us avoid these problems and ensures that all processes are documented, transparent, and traceable. This is where regulatory bodies like the FDA in the US and the EMA in Europe come in. They set strict standards for documentation to make sure products are safe and effective. Following GDP principles is not just good practice, it's the law. But GDP is not just about following rules, it's about building trust. When companies maintain accurate and reliable records, they demonstrate their commitment to quality and patient safety. Good documentation practices revolve around key principles. Think of these principles as the pillars of reliable documentation. Accuracy, ensure all data is correct. Consistency, use the same format and units. Legibility, write clearly. Completeness, include all important information. Timeliness, record promptly. Traceability, use unique identifiers. Accountability, sign and date entries. Adhering to these principles ensures reliable and trustworthy documentation. Building upon the foundation of GDP principles, we have ALCOA+. This acronym represents a set of specific attributes that ensure data integrity, a critical aspect of GDP. Attributable, you should be able to identify who created the data and when they did it. Legible, data should be clear, permanent, and easy to read. Contemporaneous data should be recorded at the time of observation or activity. Original, the first place data is recorded. Think of lab notebooks or original data files. Accurate data should be correct, truthful, and free from errors, but ALCOA Plus doesn't stop there. It adds a few more vital principles. Complete, all necessary data points are recorded. No gaps or missing information. Consistent, data is recorded in a uniform manner following established procedures. Enduring data is stored securely and can be retrieved when needed, even years later. Available, authorized individuals should be able to access the data when required. By adhering to ALCOA Plus principles, organizations can ensure their data is reliable, trustworthy, and can stand up to scrutiny during audits and inspections. In pharmaceuticals and biotech, documentation is crucial. It tracks a product's journey from development to delivery. Key documents include SOPs, batch records, and logbooks. SOPs are step-by-step instructions for processes. Batch records track a product's life cycle. Logbooks record daily activities and deviations. Each document ensures quality, compliance, and a clear audit trail. Section 5, Document Control, keeping your records organized and secure. Having a system for document control is like having a well-organized library. It ensures that documents are stored securely, easily accessible, and properly managed throughout their life cycle. Version control. Clearly identify different versions of a document to prevent confusion and ensure everyone is using the most up-to-date information. Document approval. Establish a clear process for review and approval of documents to ensure accuracy and compliance. Secure storage. Protect documents from damage, loss, or unauthorized access. This may involve physical security measures and restricted access rights. Controlled access. Only authorized individuals should have access to specific documents. This prevents unauthorized changes or deletions. Record retention. Establish a system for retaining documents for a defined period as required by regulations. By implementing these document control measures, organizations can maintain order, prevent errors, and facilitate easy retrieval of information during audits or investigations. Section 6, Common GDP Errors, avoiding pitfalls in documentation. Even with the best intentions, errors can creep into documentation. Being aware of these common pitfalls is the first step in preventing them. Missing or incomplete entries. Rushing through documentation or assuming information is implied can lead to gaps in data. Illegible handwriting. If you can't read it, it's as good as not being documented. Incorrect abbreviations. Using non-standard abbreviations can create confusion and misinterpretations. Failure to sign and date. This makes it impossible to determine who recorded the information and when. Backdating or altering records. This is a serious GDP violation that undermines the integrity of the entire system. Lack of justification for corrections. All corrections should be made according to established procedures and include a clear explanation for the change. By being mindful of these common errors and implementing strategies to prevent them, organizations can strengthen their documentation practices and minimize the risk of regulatory non-compliance. Section 7. Best practices for GDP tips for accurate and compliant records. Creating and maintaining accurate and compliant documentation doesn't have to be overly complicated. By incorporating these best practices, you can streamline your processes and minimize errors. Use indelible ink. This ensures that records are permanent and cannot be easily tampered with. Strike through errors with a single line. This preserves the original information and provides a clear record of the correction. Follow templates. Using standardized templates for common documents ensures consistency and completeness. Record data contemporaneously. Don't wait until the end of the day or week to document. Record information in real time as it happens. Regular training and audits. Provide regular training on GDP principles and conduct internal audits to identify and correct any deficiencies. By embracing these best practices, you can create a culture of quality and compliance within your organization. Section 8. Electronic documentation navigating the digital landscape. The pharmaceutical and biotech industries are increasingly moving towards electronic documentation and data capture. This offers increased efficiency and reduced errors, but presents unique challenges. Compliance with 21 CFR Part 11 and Annex 11. These regulations set requirements for electronic records and signatures. Implement a system for electronic signatures that meets regulatory requirements. Systems should capture audit trails, providing a history of changes. Data security. Implement robust security measures to protect electronic data. Controlled access. Use access controls to ensure only authorized personnel can access records. Systems must be validated to ensure they meet regulatory requirements. Addressing these considerations allows organizations to leverage electronic documentation benefits while maintaining compliance. Section 9. Regulatory oversight, inspections, and the consequences of non-compliance. Regulatory bodies like the FDA and EMA have the authority to conduct inspections to ensure compliance with GDP and other regulations. These inspections can be announced or unannounced and can focus on specific areas or the entire operation. During inspections, auditors typically review documentation, interview personnel, and observe processes. They look for evidence that GDP principles are being followed, that data is accurate and reliable, and that systems are in place to prevent and detect errors. The consequences of non-compliance can be severe, ranging from warning letters and product recalls to fines, and even criminal charges. In addition to legal and financial penalties, non-compliance can damage a company's reputation and erode public trust. To prepare for inspections, organizations should conduct regular internal audits, address any deficiencies promptly, and ensure that all personnel are trained on GDP principles and procedures. Maintaining a state of continuous readiness is essential for a successful inspection. Section 10. Conclusion. GDP, a cornerstone of quality and trust. Good documentation practices are not just about checking boxes on a regulatory checklist. They are fundamental to ensuring the quality, safety, and efficacy of pharmaceutical, biotechnology, and medical device products. By embracing the principles of GDP, Alcoa Plus, and best practices for document control, organizations demonstrate their commitment to protecting patient safety. Accurate and reliable documentation helps prevent errors, deviations, and product quality issues that could potentially harm patients. Ensuring product quality, GDP principles ensure that products are consistently manufactured according to established procedures and meet the highest quality standards, maintaining regulatory compliance. Adhering to GDP requirements is essential for obtaining and maintaining marketing authorization and avoiding costly penalties, building trust and confidence. Transparent and reliable documentation fosters trust with regulatory authorities, healthcare professionals, and the public. In an industry where trust and accountability are paramount, good documentation practices are not optional, they are essential. By making GDP an integral part of their operations, organizations can contribute to a safer, healthier future for everyone. Celera Inc. is a leading provider of innovative solutions in the pharmaceutical and biotech industries. Our expertise spans across data integrity, compliance, and digital transformation. We are dedicated to delivering high-quality services that ensure the success and growth of our clients. Celery Inc., your partner in achieving excellence in the pharmaceutical and biotech sectors. For more information, visit our website at www.celeryinc.com or contact us at info@celeryinc.com. Celery Inc., your trusted partner in the pharmaceutical and biotech sectors.